I serve as the Director of Row Crops for the U.S. I've been with the company for just over a year and 3 months now. Locust is based out of Solon, Ohio, which is just south of Cleveland. I'm based out of Kansas, so not Ohio, but close, right? Based out of Manhattan, Kansas, excuse me. But we focus on biology. Okay, Locust is a specific piece of locust fermentation solutions, and I'll get into that here in just a second. But we are a small company that you've probably never heard of, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing for all of us in here, because we're doing something that nobody else in the industry can or will be able to do for the foreseeable future. So today we're going to run through a few different things, and I promise there's going to be questions at the end, so I'm going to try to not go too deep into this thing. So who, what, why of today's carbon market. So anybody been approached by a carbon program salesman in the past year, 2 years, 3 years? Yeah, there's a lot of us out there, right? But there's only a few of us that are actually doing it. So proud to be part of one of these programs that's actually being successful and making growers successful at the same time. So who's Locust? How do we fit into it? And then what do we offer that the other programs do not? And then lastly, we have a little bit of talk about dollars and data. Everything right now financially is driven by success of the growers around you. So we're not just picking and choosing, we're making sure that we make the people that start extremely successful and then let them move to the next stage and then advance, wherever they are within their own process and operation as a whole. So, did anybody know that there's 170 different carbon-based credits that are sold today on the market? This is not just domestically, this is international. Okay? We play a very small part of this entire equation. But the good thing is we have the most ability to scale. You have to think about what two markets are actually available. Compliance, it's just what it sounds like. Anybody see the news out of the Netherlands in the last 6 months? That's compliance. It's terrible. European Union, Canada, that's compliance. Voluntary, that means we get to play ball. If you want to play ball, you can play ball. If you can qualify to play ball, okay? The reason everybody gets confused is that there's always big numbers thrown on carbon credit prices in the market. When in actuality, it can go as low as $1. Maybe sometimes as high as $80. It depends on the industry that is creating that credit and selling it back into the specific buyer, okay? Good thing for us, again, is that U.S. nature-based credits are the preferred credits. But the problem with that is larger companies have made commentary that they don't want to buy ag-based credits because of the risk of reversal. You know, when diesel gets cheap again, ever, I don't think anybody here is going to go out and buy a Billboard plow. But there's still that thought in the buyer's mind. Delta Airlines CEO made that comment specifically that they will not buy ag-based credits because they think the risk of reversal is too high for them to take on that challenge. Okay? We're here to change that. This doesn't just stop with US-based credits. Everything has to be verified. If you've heard of Vera and CAR, they are the gold standard of carbon credit methodology and verification in our specific market. Locust works with Vera. So that means everything from our products, everything from our soil sampling, everything from our soil analysis, the methodology we use for everything has to be verified by Vera. That allows us to actually generate the credit, exchange the credit, get the money for the credit, which goes back to the grower. Okay? Starts with soil health, food quality, as Vince and Dill just talked about. And then what kind of legacy are we leaving for the next generation? So I work with growers across all 50 states, it feels like. I've been fortunate enough to work in multiple businesses that have been able to look at a legacy-based standpoint of what are we doing not just next year, but 20 years from now. The decisions that we make today will always affect our next generation. So with that, talk about Locust. Locust started as Locust Fermentation Solutions back in 2014. Since then, we have went into agricultural and animal feed, natural resources such as bioenergy, mining, all the way down into skin creams and Clorox-based products, all using biology. Simple yet effective biology. Everything that we have is all owned, discovered, and patented by Locust Fermentation Solutions. Now, the good thing is, when you have that many species that you own, you understand what they can do and how they do it. Whether it be in the root system, in the vascular system of the plant, or even in the soil, and then all these other different business units. Okay? Each of these is functioning. Each of them is functioning at a high level. You'll find Locust Bioenergy Solutions heavily in the Bakken, as well as down the Permian Basin in Texas. Okay? Still all using biology. It's just, what does that biology do that makes it effective? Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about products, because this is what we're here to talk about. The products are dry. I heard a little bit about a dry product earlier today, but everything we do on the ag side is dry. It's a talc and graphite-based powder. The bugs are in it. The CFU counts are extremely high, so the usage rate is extremely low. For example, corn, 1/2 ounce per unit of seed. Soybeans, 1/2 ounce per unit of seed. You'll notice that under the prime aspect, which is our legume-based product line, we have multiple things that can be treated. Well, not every rhizobia likes every plant species. So we have to be very specific in which rhizobia species that we put with our specific legumes. Okay? The good thing is, we're always going to focus around NP and K. I'm not going to stand here and tell you to cut your fertilizer, because that's your operation. Why not make it better? Why not enhance it in every way that you absolutely can, while taking advantage of the nutrients that you have in the soil already? The bottom line of what we go through every single day, what you guys go through every single day, is extremely crucial and critical, and we want to help bring that up. But if we stick around our main nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, we have a pretty dang good shot. These products have been around, but the good thing is, we're just getting to the point where actual commercial availability for row crops is just over the last 2 years. And that's because data was all we had to do from 2014 on. So no matter if we're playing in strawberries, or citrus, corn, wheat, pistachios, onions, peppers, tomatoes, we're playing in those ball games. And they're effective. And they've been extremely effective. What I want you to focus on is that, yes, there's a lot sitting up here on the screen, but we do this because we want to be specific in your operation. And we want to be able to treat and help with what's going on. It's not a silver bullet, but it can help treat things that may be hindering specific soils. So when I think about phosphorus, I always use this example. We work on a dairy down in Florida. They have a lot of manure and water, and they mix them together, and they put it on all their pivots, and they've got roughly 800 parts per million of phosphorus in that soil. But they keep adding more. 10 gallon of 1034 3 times a year. Every rotation, more phosphorus. In one growing season, i.e. 3 months, we unlocked over 90 pounds of phosphorus. Gave them that information, and they said, well, what do we do with this? Just went on the same path. 10 more gallons of 1034. What you do with the information, how you use biology, is up to you. What I can tell you is that when you start putting specific microbes that do specific jobs, your soil begins to function. There's some power to that, and I'll let that sink in for a second. But you start to take and focus on the biggest aspects that allow a plant to mitigate abiotic stress, and now you're starting to put money back in that piggy bank that we call organic matter percentage. And that's a big deal. Did anybody's organic matter drop this year or stay the same? We had a little bit of a drought this year, no matter where we were. Okay? This allows us to put more back in that piggy bank and mitigate stress. So, I tell you all that because that leads us into carbon now, and I'm going to say this twice. Locust Ag is a product company. Locus Ag is a product company. We are not a carbon company. But guess what? The products allowed us to start our own product, our own carbon company. Okay? By using soil probiotics, i.e. locust-based products, the data we have behind it that's been verified for the last few years, our products act exactly like a practice change, and they qualify as a practice change. So anybody that's been doing no-till for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, using cattle, using covers, cutting nitrogen, all these things, you typically would not qualify for any other program on the market, because you'd have to make a financial investment to change something else on your farm that you may or may not get paid back for. Well, guess what? I enrolled a field this year that's been in no-till since 1942. Qualified.
Say that again.
1942. Winter, Kansas. Broke out the prairie. They've been farming it ever since. It's pretty special to be able to work with those folks and folks like you that have been doing stuff like that, and now bring an opportunity that they can make dollars per acre every single year by continuing to do what you're doing and not asking you to change. What's it mean? You get into carbon now, which is, again, the only globally recognized carbon farming program that advances and accelerates carbon sequestration that's actually going to pay you minimums no matter what. $12 an acre every year for 4 years. So minimum, you're going to get $48 an acre. What's important about that, and why I showed you that graph to begin with, there's 170 different carbon credit-based markets out there, or carbon credits being sold. Our partners are new. They work with all of them. So when we go sell credits into the market on your behalf, they present a portfolio. So that takes that Delta CEO, and they can present something that makes the risk of buying those credits almost zero. Nobody else in the world does that. They've been around. They were formerly as Blue Source. They've been around since 1998. All they do is carbon. We're fortunate enough to be their only ag-based account. We work directly with them, as well as our partners below. So with everything that we do runs through Regen Ag Labs. All of our soil sampling is done third party. We have third party intelligence to help with data collection and data transparency and security, as well as Vera sits in the middle of that for methodology and verification. So what this does, and I had this conversation today, what if I just took all my credits and stored them in a grain bin and I sold them in 10 years? You could do that, but then you ensue all the costs. Exchange fees, insurance fees, assurance fees, soil sampling fees, data collection fees. For one individual grower to get started, it's probably going to cost you $20,000 up front just to sell your own credits. Here, it doesn't cost you a thing because we handle all the risk. That's a big difference to every other program that's out there. The last thing I'll say here is that we take no possession of your credits. You are contracted directly with the market itself. That means it doesn't come through me, we don't skim some off the top and then push it back to you. No, your money comes directly from the new. Transparency. That's a big part of this. So how's it work? You sign up, it takes about 2 minutes. And then we do something that's unheard of in this industry. We send somebody to you in person. Data is the most important and difficult part of this entire process. But by golly, it's important. 3 years worth of historical data. But we have people that do this every single day, all day. And they want to work directly with you. We collect that data, whether it be from ag-based software, JD Ops, Climate View, Field View, crop insurance, any of those things can qualify as data collection opportunities. We do that with you on your behalf. At that point, we then start to select control fields. This is a big point that I want to push out. Control fields are crucial due to the fact that we have to validate ourselves, the market has to validate us, and and that brings your credit value up every single time that you sequester one, or 2, or 12. Okay? Moving down, we have the data we collect. We send it all into ARBA to make sure that everything gets approved, and then guess what? You get paid in the first year that you're in, twice. Depending on your rotation, spring and fall, you're always gonna get a $9 payment and a $3 payment. Your only requirements is to use a locust product once every 12 months, and let me come soil sample your ground. And you get the results back from them, and I pay for it. Each year, when we run soil samples, there'll be a performance bonus paid out, meaning every time that you sequester additional credits and it's sold on the market, you get paid more. And each year that the market goes up, we take our minimums up. So find another program that's going to guarantee 4 years of dollars and cents to your pocket at a zero risk opportunity. You're always going to be net positive with the product purchase, and you're always going to get free soil sampling, and you're always going to make more minimums each year. We shoot for a minimum size of 500 acres, and if you've been in a CSP, EQIP, or other conservation programs, guess what? Stack this bad boy right on top of it. It does not disqualify you. The only way you disqualify yourself from this program is if you deep rip your ground 18 inches down 3 times a year just because it's fun.
Don't do that.
So this is something that nobody else can touch, and so we're very proud to have that. And then the last thing I'll say is we had a goal of 40,000 acres in 2022. We hit 480 last week. That's all been grower to grower conversations. Make one successful, make another one successful. $2 million paid out so far. We'll be closer to 10 by the end of this year. It's real money, and it's happening right now. So, with that, there's always a date, right? You always got to have a cutoff date. February 18th is our cutoff date. The good thing is, it only takes 2 minutes to try to sign up. We'll be here all week to do that. But if we do that, get you signed up, get your contract executed, you're going to get your first payment in March and April of this year. So, I'll skip this because I just yelled at you for 20 minutes. There's a QR code if you're interested. I know I'm running up on time, so I'll leave that up there and take questions.
All right, and we're going to do it this way. They just handed me a survey that I'm going to hand out to you. So as I hand that out, feel free to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
How do you make your money?
The question was, how does Locust make our money? We sell products.
Make it off the products.
That's it. Good question. Yes, sir.
So is the carbon credit payout dependent upon the microbials doing something?
So the microbials have been proven to increase the carbon in the soil. So that's part of it.
But is it validated on those farms that sign up?
Yes, every year. So we're going to soil sample every single year for 4 years within a 2-week window of that initial probe being pulled. 12 inches down. Good question. Any more questions? Yes?
So those, you said you're making 12 inches out?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Well,
We're just doing 0 to 6 and 6 to 12. So there's other things in the works, but that's stage 1. Good question.
If anybody needs a pen, I got a supply.
Yeah, that's just the dark off.
Yeah, we're together.
Make sure we get it.